So before I even continue playing this video, I am from Louisiana and I am a Creole, but I'm a Creole because of my great grandmother. My great grandmother was a fully black, dark-skinned Creole woman. So this is why I am Creole. I'm a Creole descendant, but I'm half black and half white. Now keep in mind that I'm half black and half white, so I'm not MGM. You got this negative stereotype going on in the black community, right? Because it's really just a tactic used by many dark-skinned people. Because let's be real, many dark-skinned people have an entitlement. I'm not talking about everyone. If it don't apply, let it fly. But let's be real, it applies to a lot of people. They have an entitlement for light-skinned women. They have an entitlement, and they do not want to see us dating each other. So what do they say? They say, "Oh, you guys look like brother and sister. You guys look like siblings. You guys don't belong together. Light-skinned couples don't look right together. You guys look like siblings. You guys look like you're an incest couple." It's all just shaming tactics, man, to get us to not date each other, man. Like that's what this is really about. That's what this is really about. I'm biracial. I'm half black and half white. So I'm not an MGM Creole. My great grandmother was a fully black, dark-skinned Creole. But one time, no bullshit. I had a dark-skinned black man come to my comment section one time, right? And guess what he told me? "Oh, light-skinned niggas is soft." Not only did he say light-skinned niggas is soft, but guess what else he told me? "Oh, you're probably the product of incest. Light-skinned niggas are the product of incest." That's what he told me. Not realizing that, bro, I'm a first-generation biracial. I have a black parent and a white parent. I couldn't possibly be the product of incest if I have a black parent and a white parent. It's crazy, man. They don't want to see us dating each other. That's what this is really about.
Okay, there's a lot of talk about why is it that so many Creoles married other Creoles. There's a term or phrase they used to say, keeping it in the family.
That alone is just cringe. You got a bunch of talk. People are wondering why so many Creoles are marrying other Creoles. Like, what type of... Yo, this is my point proven. They got a lot of dark-skinned black people who have an entitlement for us. They feel entitled to us. They feel entitled to our sexual body parts. It's like, how can you look at somebody crazy for wanting to marry and date people within their own community or racial category? Everybody does that. See what I'm talking about?
Mentality. They had made pacts to marry each other's families, and that's what they did.
She's right. They did not marry people that look like me, my color, right? Because a lot of them wanted to preserve that color. Like my grandmother said, I'm more inclined to believe my grandma because my grandma has never steered me wrong. She said they want to preserve that color. So she told me, somebody like you? No. Matter of fact, just my grandma said, you got to be careful with them little Creole women. And I said, well, why would you say that? Say because in order to preserve that color, they could not, like she said, get with other Creoles. They would get with a third and fourth cousin. Just so they can preserve their color. They had things like the Blue Vein Society.
When you go to Louisiana, I want to put y'all on game, man. When you go to Louisiana, this is why I'm not even really too much interested in even really dating a lot of women in Louisiana, man. Louisiana is a scary place because there's a lot of incest going on in Louisiana in general. This is not a light-skinned thing. This is a human thing going on in Louisiana. There's a lot of incest going on in Louisiana. White people, black people, and light-skinned people, and dark-skinned people. If y'all want to try to make this claim that all light-skinned Creoles are close kinfolk and all, there should be a high level of deformity rates amongst Creole people in Louisiana. Why do we not see a high level of deformity rates amongst light-skinned people in Louisiana? That's my question. So since y'all are making this claim right? Bring it back, though. Let's bring it back.
There's a term or phrase they used to say, keeping it in the family, and it was literally that. Am I saying that my ancestors were committing incest? No.
Oh, what did she say? She said, am I saying my ancestors committed incest? And she said no.
What that meant was they could not marry slaves.
And even if some of them were, obviously, it must have not been that many of them doing that, because if there was, then there should be a high level of deformity rates.
These people were not like us. They had a whole different set of dynamics. It was a different world, a different time. Acceptable. What? Think of it however you want to, but what wasn't acceptable at the time were people who made a certain amount of money dating down or marrying.
See what I'm talking about? She's talking about what's acceptable at that time, and exactly, we're talking about a whole different time era. You got to keep that in mind as well. That plays a big factor.
Marrying down. Okay.
Let's fast forward it a little bit though, because I want to show y'all one more thing.
Get yourself right back there. And I'll say, why you say that? Say because in order to preserve that color, they could not, like she said, get with other Creoles. They would get with a third and fourth cousin, just so they can preserve that color. They had things like the Blue Vein Society. Some of them even owned slaves as well. Oh yes. And then a lot of them thought that they was, they could go with the white folks. A lot of them could pass. And then when the white folks find out what they got going on, they, hey, man, you don't get your behind from up here with us. Get yourself right back there with them black folk. You don't belong.
Nah, bro, where are you getting that from? They didn't say that. They didn't tell them to go right back down there with the black folks. The mixed people had their own category in Louisiana. What are you talking about?
Belong up here. Because they will treat a lot better in society than someone that look like me.
Oh, so now you're contradicting yourself. Did y'all just see how this man contradicted himself, ladies and gentlemen? Let's continue.
You understand what I'm saying? So my grandmother said, yeah, you got to be real careful. Say, don't let them green eyes they got in that light skin or that gray eyes, you say, don't let none of that fool you. Because boy, you don't know what you're dealing with sometimes. Say with them. That's what my grandmother was saying. But we have done.
Good. Stay away from them. Go get a woman in your image. You know what I'm saying? Stay away. Keep your hands off my women. That's my woman. Go do yourself a favor and get a woman in your image. Problem solved.
The quote-unquote Creoles was just an offshoot of the legacy of slavery. Because you got to understand, there was no such thing as a Creole coming from the continent of Africa. That is the white man's print on causing genetic confusion. That's just what it really is. Now, I'm not saying the Creoles of today, no, nothing like that.
Now, you see, that was just disrespectful.
Because they'll tell you they black in a minute. You could hear.
See, so that's what he wants us. So the way he's talking, he wants Creoles to simply identify as black. He wants us to stay in the black community. He doesn't want us to have our own community. Like, it's showing. That's what it is. He don't want us to have our own community. He wants us to just claim black and that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, like they're just exposing themselves every time they speak, man. Well, that pretty much sums it up, ladies and gentlemen. But, they didn't prove anything. They didn't really prove too much. It's really just going to show, man, that they're just pulling anything out their behinds to try to get mixed and light-skinned people to stay away from each other and not date each other and to not form our own community. Like, that's what they're doing, man. And they're pulling anything out the rabbit trick hat, man. They're pulling anything they can out their behinds, man. And that's what this pretty much is. And that pretty much sums it up, ladies and gentlemen. It's sad, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really sad. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to fall for this, and a lot of people are going to run with this silly rhetoric.